Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for stopping by the channel today for a very special episode number 700 in the history of this channel. It's just been a blast so far. Looking forward to the next 700. I'm as motivated today as I was on day one, 2.5 years ago when I finally jumped into the waters here in the YouTube card community. And in the past, what I've done on these big episodes is revealed a significant card from my collection that I've never shown before. But after 700 of these, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And my favorite thing about being on this platform is the community, the people and the other collectors that I've met. I have so many friends now that I've made in the last 2.5 years that I am in regular contact with related to the hobby. And it just makes the whole experience 100 times better, as you all know. So what I'm going to do for this episode, I am going to show some great cards, as you can see in the pile here. Most of them new, never shown on the channel before, maybe a couple have been. But in going through those, or the way I'm going to show those, is I'm going to do shout outs to 10 relatively new and or very small channels that I really enjoy and I think are worth your time. One thing about the YouTube card community, it's just so large. There are so many inroads and avenues that you can go down that naturally little clicks form. There's not enough time to check out everybody's content, even if you didn't sleep and watched YouTube 24 hours a day. And so I'm willing to bet that some of you that watch this video, even though I'm not a big channel myself, you may not have heard of some of these other channels. So go introduce yourself. These are all excellent for the reasons that I'm going to get into. Content creators and friendly folks. And in true Shoebox Legend analog fashion, created some index cards here. So let's just get to the list of 10. And first up, we have a new channel that I absolutely love, Mookie Chilson, which is a great play, of course, on Mookie Wilson. And he's been around for a couple months now, I think, or longer. First noticed Mookie in the comments section, both on my own channel and a lot of the other channels that I frequent. And I could tell by his comments alone that he was a passionate collector with a great collection and a good storyteller as well. And so I think I encouraged him a couple times, and I'm sure others did as well, like, you should really make some content. He would just mention really awesome cards that he had and collections. And so recently he has jumped in here, started creating content, and it has been fantastic. Cannot recommend him enough. Of course, a Mets fan, as you can tell by the name, has also done pinhole cards, a whole corkboard of vintage Hall of Famers that have pinholes that he has pinned in, and various other fun projects. Just unveiled a monster card from the 1940s that had me drooling in a recent video. So, funny story related to Mookie. When I first saw your screen name, I instantly thought of a very specific Mookie Wilson card. And it is the 1987 Fleer Mookie Wilson. Because let's face it, if there's a Mookie Chilson version of a Mookie Wilson card out there, this has got to be it. I mean, how relaxed and chilled does that guy look right there? Shades are shining back into the camera. I've always, just kept this card. I'm not a Mets collector. I'm not a Mookie Wilson collector. I don't collect 87 Fleer, but I've never parted with that card because I just think the image is fantastic. And yeah, again, from the first time I saw your screen name, that was the card that in my mind I kind of associated with your collection and your name. So had to get that one in. And then, of course, being a big Mets fan, have a Miracle Mets card here that I've never shown before. From the 1969 season, the team's best pitcher. This is a buyback version of the 69 Topps Tom Seaver from the 2015 Topps original buyback program. So this would have come out of a box of probably 2015 Topps Update Baseball. As an insert, it's an original 69 card stamped with the stamp and reinserted in 2015. So one of my favorite buybacks, one that I've never shown before, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to break it out for Mookie Chilson. So definitely stop by and give Mookie a visit. Next up, we got a football collector, among other things, JRL Cards. His channel is relatively new and he has very few subs, so definitely head over and check it out. He's into modern football, Shine, also modern baseball, 90s, and various other things as well. I'm trying to summarize all these channels quickly since I have 10 to get through, but don't let me sell them short. They were chosen for this list for a reason. I really enjoy their content. I think their collections are impressive And that's certainly the case with JRL cards. Now, I don't have a lot of football cards to show off, but I have a little Z-Folio going, not very full, and a couple of graded cards. But I do have a nice shiny card that I think fits the bill. It's a Tom Brady. Now, I think over at JRL Cards, he is an Aaron Rodgers collector, if I recall. But this Brady from 2016 Select, it's the Prism. Check that out. Easy to see why this one ended up in my collection, because I love shine and I love etching. And so just a really nice parallel of a Tom Brady base card there from Select. Great job by Panini with that one, and great job JRL Cards, frequent uploader of content. I think his latest video is even just a day or two old, so would really appreciate if you would head on over there and give him a sub. Check out some of his fantastic content. Next up, this guy should have like 1,000 subscribers because his collection is jaw-dropping. Peter B. And what I love about Peter, I've drawn a crude state of Rhode Island map there over to the right. Peter is a fellow Rhode Islander, and I think I can safely say, I know not everybody's on YouTube, but I am willing to bet that Peter has the best pre-war sports card collection in the state of Rhode Island, and probably one of the best ones in the world. I mean, if you watch this guy's videos, he does these Tobacco Tuesdays, which I think were inspired by my cheese box videos he's mentioned to me, where he just pulls some random tobacco cards and discusses them. And the depth and breadth of his tobacco card collection alone is just, it's astounding. I can't do it justice because I don't know enough about that era to know all the ins and outs of every card, but I learn a ton when I watch his videos, and I'm just flabbergasted, quite honestly. I mean, I'm not overselling it here. It is simply amazing, his collection of tobacco cards. And so there was an obvious choice that I could pick as a tribute to Peter B, because I have a T206 tobacco card of Jimmy Lavender that I've never shown. And he hails from, or at the time, Providence, as you can read there, Providence, Rhode Island. So this is a rare, in my collection anyway, Rhode Island baseball card. I'd love to get the few other Providence T206 cards. They are on my list. I think this might be the only one that I have. But obviously, being a tobacco card seemed like the perfect card to choose for Peter B, who again has a collection that's just so amazing. I can't possibly do it justice. Frequent poster as well of content. And if you are at all curious about the early history of baseball, and specifically the early history of baseball in the hobby, he's a must subscribe to me. So Peter B. All right. Next up, we have channel Contrarian Cards, my friend Jason, and I have shouted him out before. I learned about his channel from Joe over at Four Soft Corners, and I would describe Jason, if I had to use one word to describe his channel and his collection, it would be cerebral, which is an interesting choice, I know, but he perhaps more frequently and does a better job than anyone I know, just is constantly analyzing the hobby. Not which cards are hot or the 10 biggest sales on eBay last month or anything like that, but more like the psychology of a collector. Why do you desire certain cards? How can you make your collection better? What is the reasoning or rationale behind wanting to purchase something? And he just spends a lot of time explaining his process and his organization and his method and his framework that he uses to assemble his collection. And I enjoy those videos so much. He collects Star Wars. Those are my crude lightsabers there. Also wrestling, football. I'm not even into football, but I'll watch an entire video on football on his channel because I appreciate his thought process. And he makes me think differently about my own collection and how I approach collecting and why I'm collecting certain cards. And he really gets my mind moving. And I suspect he may for you as well. So if that sounds appealing to you, head on over, check out Contrarian Cards. And as far as what to show, I could have chosen a Star Wars card, but one of the things I love about Jason, he'll go off into the weeds, just like I will. Calculated, but off into the weeds. And, non-sport, all kinds of crazy stuff. And he had a set recently that I was so inspired by. I went out and picked it up myself. It's these, they're made by Will's Cigarettes, and they're the Wonders of the Past. Now, I bought this whole set within minutes of seeing it on Jason's channel. It's like a 50 card set, but I just picked a few to show you here today. the Pyramids of Giza. Got the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. This is probably my favorite. Like, how cool is that? This is just an awesome set. I had never heard of this in my life until I saw Jason's video. It's the Great Wall of China. And so just one of the many examples where he has inspired me and made my collection better just by consuming his content. And lastly, the Roman Colosseum. How cool is that? So huge thank you to Jason for making me aware of that and for just running an awesome channel. Contrarian Cards. All right, next up is a new channel that I know a lot of you are familiar with. Signs of the Pastime. Hugo down in Florida. Just an excellent collector and a friendly guy all around. As the channel name would indicate, Signs of the Pastime, he is mainly into autographs, but he does these really great videos where he'll use a physical location and almost film what feels like a tourism type video about a town or a museum or a ballpark that have historical significance. And he'll link them to cards and baseball history, but you get so much more than that. And they're well produced, they're funny, great sense of humor, and also Hugo does have a past of having lived in the state of Rhode Island as well. So fellow Rhode Islander, and so really respect the man. He's done a great job on his own channel and on some guest appearances that I've seen him on. He's relatively new to the platform, so you could head over and watch his entire video catalog in probably under an hour or around an hour, and it would be an hour well spent. As you'll see, he puts a tremendous amount of time and effort into his videos, and it absolutely shows. Just a force in the hobby and someone whose channel I think is going to grow tremendously in the coming years. So Hugo, awesome job. Keep it up. And as a shout out to you, I chose an autograph, of course, from my Red Sox collection, of course. Hugo is a Red Sox fan, having come up in Rhode Island here. From Allen and Ginter, we have the Bill Buckner auto. Kind of figured this was an appropriate choice given that we led off with Mookie Chilson as the first channel. Painful memory there, but happy to have this on-card Bill Buckner auto out of A&G, and thought that was a perfect shout out to Hugo over at Signs of the Pastime. So keep up the awesome work, Hugo. All right, next up we have Hodges 1455. This is another relatively new channel, and I found this the way I find so many channels, through looking at people who commented on my channel. If somebody leaves me a comment and I don't recognize them or their channel name, I go check right away to see if they make videos. And as of recently, Hodges 1455 makes videos, and this guy has a great, well-rounded collection. I can tell, just all over the place like me, but still selective within being all over the place. And that's my favorite way to collect. I've seen hockey cards on his channel, baseball card, plenty of baseball. I know that's most popular, and easy to see why, vintage baseball, but he's shown amazing vintage. He did one video that was a whole tribute to John Mangini, where he showed a lot of vintage Pirates and other awesome cards. But I've also seen soccer and hockey and all kinds of stuff. So he reminds me, at least in the early going here, of myself. Very friendly guy. We've actually exchanged some email back and forth, and I'm learning more about his collecting journey, and mine likewise. So can't recommend it enough. Hodges 1455. And I wanted to sneak in a soccer card here, as he did a recent soccer card video. This is a pretty nice one that I don't think I've ever shown. Kylian Mbappe, 2018, from his World Cup winning year, the Optic Holo in a PSA 9. This is not technically a rookie card, but it's a very early career card, and it's from that World Cup win for Team France, which he won as a teenager. Was kind of the star of the tournament, and thought I would get that one in, so I hope you appreciate that. And again, go check out Hodges 1455. Next up, Old Sarge Collects. This is a channel that I learned about from Doug over at Decon's Cardboard. Fantastic, and again, wide variety vintage channel. Right now, he's actually going through a series of videos where he's showing off his Diamond Stars set. So here's the one I chose to show here. The Pie Trainer in a beat up 1.5, but I don't care. I love Diamond Stars. Really enjoying that series so far. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. But aside from that, ongoing series that he's got going, just amazing vintage collection overall. I can already tell. Seems like there's a lot of gems, and that he's only just starting to scratch the surface in terms of what Brad has to share with us over at Old Sarge Collects. And as further evidence of that, he commented on a video of mine recently that I'm the only other collector he knows of that has the 1940 Castell Wizard of Oz title card, which I showed this a couple times, including in the SGC reveal video that I did. I did submit this one myself. I bought it ungraded and subbed it. But not only does Brad have this title card, which I think is beyond awesome, he has the entire set. So that gives you an idea of kind of the amazing collection that you're dealing with over there. So if vintage appeals to you, vintage baseball, but also non-sport and all kinds of other things, definitely go sub up Old Sarge Collects. All right, I think we've got 3 more here. First up, my buddy Darren at Return to Collecting. His channel is growing quickly, so I'm sure you may have heard of him. If not, you need to go sub. His collection is insane. I believe he got back in about 5 years ago and has just steadily been accumulating an amazing, mostly baseball, but occasionally some other stuff as well, collection. I've mentioned him recently because in my Nolan Ryan career run video that I did, I touched on Darren's career Nolan Ryan run, which is just insane in terms of like high grade and visual appeal. He's got one of the highest grade Nolan Ryan rookies that I've ever seen. This one is nowhere near that, but I wanted to show it off anyway as my card to mention for Darren over at Return to Collecting. Another guy who's really just immersed himself in the community. I've seen him on various other channels doing interviews and guest spots and things like that. So Darren, keep up the great work. Love all of your content. I've gone right back to the beginning with your top 100 cards, I think is how you started your YouTube journey. Came right out, firing right out of the gate, and I've enjoyed the rest of it along the way. So huge tip of the cap to Darren. And if you're wondering what my artwork is here, that was my feeble attempt at some baseball caps containing the logos of teams that Nolan Ryan played for. So yeah, I mean, some of these, freehanding it here with a marker, some of these turned out better than others. Next up, Hammer 44. And I believe I've seen, I think it was Orlando at Collector's Dream that gave a shout out recently to Hammer 44. I think it's obvious where the screen name probably comes from, of course. The most famous number 44 in baseball history. Chose this Hank Aaron, which I have shown before, but I thought this was a great one to show in my shout out to Hammer 44. There's a lot going on over on this channel. He's only got 4 or 5 videos. He started relatively recently, obviously, but a lot of time and effort going into each one. And I admire the production on his videos. As someone who takes an iPhone and hits the record button and just blabs for 20 minutes, I'm astounded by how well made Hammer 44's videos are. Down to, and you'll see some musical notes there above the hammer. I remember in his first video, at the end, while he's showing some of the cards in a summary, he's playing his own written, recorded, and released music, his music as the soundtrack to the cards. That gives you an idea. And then his latest video is like a piece of just fantastic cinematography on his experience growing up in the 70s and 80s. That video alone should have like 1,000 views or more. So definitely go check out Hammer 44. And I hope you keep those creative videos coming. Really, really digging them. And last but not least, I have my buddy Mike over at Scoots Collectibles. Mike is a great guy. Let me slide this over and make sure we've got it all in frame. Great guy, super friendly. Collects, as you can tell by my artwork here, the Pittsburgh Pirates, but many other things. He is working on a Pirates, I think, Topps run, but he gets into like Rookie Cup cards. I've seen football cards. He likes Mike Trout. He's collecting Barry Bonds singles, trying to get, I think 762 Bonds cards. So again, great variety. Mike's is the type of channel, if you stop by and just click on his videos tab and browse around, you are going to see a thumbnail that appeals to you almost no matter what you collect, certainly in the world of baseball. So great laid back personality that I really enjoy, easygoing, great videos to listen to, and just a passionate collector in the Pennsylvania area. So Mike, card I chose for you, I've never shown this one before, but the 1954 Topps Ed and John O'Brien, one of my favorite Pirates cards from the 50s. Just love that Brothers card. And I've had this one in my collection for a long time. You can tell by the flip here, but it seemed like a great one, a great Pirates card for Mike. So definitely go check out Scoots Collectibles. Check out any of these 10 channels today. These are all really great collectors who are putting in their time and effort to create quality content for all of us to enjoy and to make our hobby experiences better. So it's certainly worth your time. Again, I've left links to all 10 channels below, and I really appreciate you tuning in for not only this, but any of the first 700 episodes here on Shoebox Legends. And again, can't wait forward to the next 700. Appreciate all of your support. And as you know, I'll be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care and enjoy the hobby, everybody.